Hi folks, State Senator Jeff Smith here today with my two colleagues that we've three of us are Eau Claire natives and graduated from public schools in Eau Claire. And we're proud of that.
Absolutely.
We've been absolutely supporters of our Eau Claire schools, and that's what we want to talk to you about today, and not just Eau Claire schools and what they've been going through. The good news is that they've been put on hold with closing buildings, but this is an ongoing problem. And Christian, what do you think about what we're going to be doing to be able to help our schools?
Yeah, well, we're in Madison today. The Assembly is voting on a number of bills on the floor. And instead of providing any of the resources that schools in Eau Claire and the Chippewa Valley have been asking for years and years, the Republican majority just decided to propose incentives to consolidate districts altogether. And we can feel the impact of their refusal to fund public schools enough really deeply in Eau Claire. And we've seen some of the difficult decisions that our local public schools have had to make, and the teachers and administrators and parents working so hard to scrape by with the lack of resources. But today, unfortunately, Republicans have called us into session not to fix that problem, but to make it worse by incentivizing school districts to close.
And Jodi here as Jodi Emerson, Representative Jodi Emerson, Representative Christian Phelps. I know you have really strong feelings too as well about Eau Claire and about our public schools.
Well, especially as the Eau Claire district was looking at closing some of the elementary schools, I think we've all got personal stories about those schools. Whether it was being the first PTA president at Flynn Elementary, and Christian, your mom was the first principal at Flynn Elementary. Like, this is personal to us, and we were trying to separate that from our job here in the legislature. But what our job is really is to make sure that the schools have the resources that they need to do their job. And what we're seeing today on the floor are the Assembly Republicans looking at furthering the divide, whether it's closing a neighborhood school in Eau Claire or consolidating some of the rural districts. I mean, is it going to be Osseo, Fairchild, Oliva, Strum School District pretty soon? And that's what they're looking at. And we're here, we're standing up for our schools, we're standing up for the rural schools, we're standing up for our neighborhood schools, because every child deserves the best education that they can get. And it's our constitutional duty to fund public schools in Wisconsin, and we're fighting really hard to do that.
So can you imagine when one of the largest school districts is going through this right now with possible closures or consolidation of their buildings, what rural schools are going through when they're also having these same issues, even on a greater scale, and the less funding that they have and possibilities? I find that all the time when I've had a larger district where I've represented small school districts, and what do people talk to me about? They don't want to lose their school. It's their identity. It's really their identity. And so even when you talk about neighborhoods, it's the neighborhood's identity. I know that I grew up in the Longfellow neighborhood and graduated from North. I know you guys both graduated from Memorial.
Go Abes.
I know. So here we are. But Eau Claire is so important as far as the public schools, and we've been very proud over the years of being one of the top school districts in the state over and over. And we just all have to focus. We just have to stay focused. Hang on. Make sure we support our schools from our place in the legislature as policymakers, and not get carried away with blaming our school boards and the constituents that we have, that it's their fault that their schools may not be having the support that they need. It's our business to support them. So thank you for joining us today, and we're listening.